happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to see this one, as we got bad news coming for that evil Dr. Fauci, as he is now learning that the Biden pardon may mean nothing and he could potentially spend the rest of his days in prison. In this latest update, guys, I'm excited to get into it, so we're hop straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Anthony Fauci.
Oh, doctor.
Under investigation by state AGs. This is an Outkick story. 19 state attorney generals, led by South Carolina AG Alan Wilson, sent a letter to Congress stating their intent to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci accountable at the state level, despite President Joe Biden's preemptive pardon. The letter says, although former President Biden attempted to shield potential bad actors like Dr. Anthony Fauci from accountability via preemptive pardon, we are confident that state laws may provide a means to hold actors accountable for their misconduct. They requested that Congress share any findings of violations of state laws so they can evaluate state-level courses of action. The AGs accused Fauci of suppressing discussions about the lab leak theory and misleading the public on COVID vaccine risk, which they say contributed to an erosion of trust in health institutions. They wrote, Dr. Fauci led a deliberate campaign to stifle the voices of premier health scholars regarding the lack of adequate testing of vaccines, which kept the public from knowing about risks like myocarditis and pericarditis among young adult males, the verified increased risk of blood clots in women, and the long-term effects vaccines had on fertility. Glenn, will anything happen to Fauci?
Yes.
Please.
And I did not believe this. I mean, a year into it, I did a two-night special on just the stuff that we could find in public spaces that showed the smoking guns everywhere. Now we have the actual data. Now we have a preponderance of evidence, and he's backdated it to 2014 for very specific reasons. This guy has been breaking the law and becoming his own god, and he has to go to jail. And I never thought he would, but under Trump, it's not going to be vengeance. It's not going to be, repaying his enemies. They are looking for the truth between Pam Bondi, Kash Patel,
of course,
Bhattacharya. They're going to unravel this thing.
And everyone knows it at this point. These folks on the left can continue to cry and try to scream that Donald Trump is, seeking some type of vengeance and retribution on all these folks. But this is simply justice served to the American people. This is what we voted for. And I'm so glad that everyone recognizes that.
He's going to jail. And it will be because of the states. They have a right and a duty to do it.
Vinny.
I'm Glenn. I have a list of the top 3 people that I just despise. As hard as is being a Christian and trying to pray, and I actually have to pray for these people.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing I think about being a Christian.
Yeah.
I have to pray that they get their souls intact, because at one point they're going to be judged. But he's at the top, and Alejandro Mayorkas have always been at the top, and Pat knows this. He pushed these lies, and I saw a meme. Imagine getting medical advice from a doctor that needs a pardon for the medical advice that he gave you.
Yes.
That's why all these freaking Democrats, all these people, do you remember, Glenn? They would put those pictures of him in front of their lawns. Like they would worship this demon.
He was the golden calf.
He was the golden calf. And people are like, well, Trump was, he's been around for what, 7 presidents? But while this is all going on, Pat, Doge announced, and Elon, that in the past 48 hours, HHS canceled 62 contracts worth $182 million, and one of them was, ready for spending, $168,000 contract for an Anthony Fauci exhibit at the NIH museum. They're like,
he's a god.
Put that, that's going down. And then the one more thing that I saw, it was Lauren Boebert was having a House Oversight Committee hearing, and they questioned Justin Goodman. He's a senior vice president at the White Coat Waste Project about the National Institute NIH funding research, that that involves they were implanting tissue from aborted fetuses into lab animals, so abortions. That's why they're so pro-abortion. He confirmed that such studies have been funded by the NIH, specifically mentioning Dr. Fauci's NIH allergy and infectious disease.
And this is the type I can't even wrap my head around the point. This is the type of guy that they're trying to put statues in a museum of. I mean, this guy, his advice, his tips, it led to so many. His information led to so many deaths. Uncalled for. I can't tell you how many folks. You see the statistics. How many folks died alone in hospital beds for something that wasn't as serious as the picture that he was painting.
That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Pat, you want to hear this clip?
Yeah, of course.
This is it.
Implant aborted baby parts into lab animals. Have you heard of that sort of research?
Yeah, we did an analysis a few years ago showing that over 90% of experiments with using human fetal tissue and putting them involved animals were funded by.
This is the studies we're talking about right here. Unnecessary studies. Like, how could this potentially further our society, the human race? How is this beneficial to us, at all? This is honestly what got us here in the first place, that lab leak in China. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like Fauci won't be held accountable. We haven't seen China, their feet being held to the fire. They haven't, no fines, no sanctions, no penalty imposed on them for their lab leaks. So why would they hold this almost 85-year? I'm pretty sure this guy's 85 years old. Hold this guy accountable for his actions, to spend the rest of his days in a jail cell. But honestly, I want to see the state levels come after him with all the power they can, because Biden's pardon does not cover that.
Using human fetal tissue and putting them involved animals were funded by Fauci's NIAID.
Do you know where they're getting the aborted human fetal tissue?
Universities?
A lot of it is happening at colleges and universities that have affiliated hospitals that perform that
pro-abortion, kill your
Madam
babies,
Chair,
because guess what? We need to use them for experiments on animals.
And what is and honestly, when you look at Fauci and what he was starting to do in 2014, what he really started it with Dick Cheney right after 9/11, almost all of these, there is no medical reason to do these experiments. They have not made medicine better. They're not making us safer. In fact, the opposite. They are making things much, much more dangerous in the world. Where is the medical evidence that any of this was good and useful? You can't even make that argument.
Zero. And the only comfort that I could have, Glenn, and I was thinking about this yesterday, for the rest, because they took away his security detail. He's finished. He has to pay for his own security, which is good. For the rest of his life, Glenn, anytime he looks out of a window or he's outside in public, he's always going to be like this. At least I have that comfort, because how many people's lives he ruined, how many kids' lives have been ruined, and how many people freaking died that they couldn't go to their grandfathers' and grandparents' funerals because that scumbag knowingly knew what he was doing.
Well, I hope that.
And people are still suffering. Make no mistake. People are still suffering to this day because of that guy's decisions. His impact was larger than we think.
Their grandfathers and grandparents' funerals because that scumbag knowingly knew what he was doing.
Well, I hope that nothing happens to him except he goes to jail.
No, I want him in prison for the rest of his life, but he's going to be nervous everywhere he goes for the rest of his life.
Well, Tom.
Yeah, when everybody on social media that says, he was pardoned. Well, let me give you a constitutional lesson. No offense.
No.
Article 2 of the Constitution points out that the president can grant reprieves and pardons for crimes against the United States. And there are multiple precedents where the state attorney generals banded together. They banded together against Google and price fixing until it was taken up to the Southern District of New York by the federal government. So the states have the purview and the ability, as well as to work in parallel. Really, Vinny, so you're in Arizona, I'm in New Mexico, and we have a hoodlum who's committed crimes in both and says, wait a minute, our indictment is word for word the same as your indictment. Tell you what, we'll wait for you, but as soon as you're done, then we're going to try them here. I'll give you an example. You have, the hashtag Me Too. Harvey Weinstein. He was tried where? In New York. And who stood down and waited for the New York case? California. But soon as it was done, who had to have his old wrinkled butt put on a plane and went to trial in California?
Harvey.
Guess what? ladies and gentlemen, that's what you're seeing. And I just wanted to back up a little bit because there's a lot of comments that are happening and there's a lot of stuff on social media. Biden pardoned him. No, not against state crimes. And you've seen it with Weinstein. And that's what we're going to see here.
Yo, there we have it, guys. I don't know. It seems like we're starting to see a trend with these bad actors, evil officials that have been abusing, misusing the office that they have been placed in. We're now seeing Dr. Fauci could be up for some charges, potential jail time on the state level. You know, we've seen Biden with his pardons, and we thought, a lot of folks thought that, you know, he was off the table. There was no way that he was going to be gone after. But of course, the Trump administration, folks across the nation did their digging and research, and it looks like this is back on the table. I'm excited to see, you know, the amount of damage, you know, the impact he had on the folks across our nation, the impact to this day that he still has. You know, it's unbelievable, and it's truly sad, the stain, the mark that he's left on this nation. But here we're seeing that state level, he is not off the table. That door is still open, and it looks like there's officials that want to go after him, guys. I'm excited to see more updates develop, but definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.